Alright, we're here with Connor today, talking through some sound issues, talking primarily signal flow. Signal flow is really the basis for anything that happens here on the stage sound-wise. So we're going to talk through that a little bit and try to get a better understanding of what we're talking about here. This is the beginning of where signal flow starts for us. This is the input box. There are, in this particular stage, there's 4 boxes, 2 on the other wall, but these 2, if you learn one, you know all 4. So it's very simple. These are your microphone inputs. Each of the boxes have 6 inputs, and then 2 outputs. We'll talk about the outputs later because those have to do with monitors and subs and that sort of thing. But basically, this is the top of the chain. If there's one piece that might be considered above that in the chain, it's whatever your source is. Is that visible there? Source being anything from a microphone to a direct box. Any one of those. This is the beginning of the line. Your microphone is obviously used for if your source is a vocal, then that's cool. Your source could also be a guitar amp, could be a drum, could be anything that produces sound. So as far as signal flow goes, what we want to do is we want to get the sound from where it originates into the box, into the input box, and then we'll talk later about where the signal goes after that. So, just to clarify and be insanely thorough, this is just a microphone cable, basic microphone cable, also called an XLR cable. This is the ends look a little different, so let's just talk about that first, just a quick second. The 2 ends are male and female ends. This is considered the male end, this is considered the female end. So your source side always starts with the female end. Okay. I don't really know any exceptions to that. So now we got the mic connected. I'll give that to you. Okay. The other end, what we're talking about when we're talking through signal flow, is we're a good comparison for that is a garden hose. The spigot that you'd screw the garden hose onto is the source. So that's like the microphone you've got in your hand. Okay. This end of the cable is like the beginning of the garden hose. So okay. The sound is going to travel through the microphone, and it's going to end up coming out of this cable. Okay. Now, it's not producing any sound yet because it has to get all the way through the rest of the system. Right. So the next step in the signal flow is getting it into an input box. These are all identical. Any one of them would perform exactly the same job, so it doesn't matter which one you choose. So just as long as you know where you plugged it in, then when we go back to where the board is, all of these numbers that are on the boxes will correlate directly with a specific channel on the console. So that's how you know where the end of the hose picked up. Because all we're basically doing by plugging this in is extending the hose. That's the other end of the hose. Now the signal is coming from the vocal, through the microphone, through the hose, and then into the input box, and it's continued on to just a place where we can't see it yet, and we'll go back and look at that. Now the same thing would go, just to have been, again, excessively thorough, on a direct box, which is used for acoustic guitars, keyboard inputs, anything that has a 1/4-inch type connector on it, and we'll talk about that too. In this situation, this is again the head of the hose, so the female end there. It's going to connect in here, and it'll lock in. Okay. Now, whatever you're going to plug in requires a 1/4-inch cable. So, if it was a guitar, you'd plug one end into the output of the guitar, the other end would go into the direct box, and it's performing the exact same function the microphone does. It's just getting you from the source sound into the garden hose, into the mic cable. So I think that's where we are from now. When we come back, we may talk a little bit more about monitor outputs, which is the other end of the chain once the sound flows from the input box that way into the console. We also have occasion to send sound back from the console to the stage in the form of a monitor, and that's what these things do. They allow you to connect a monitor cable into there. So actually, I've got one right here, just to talk through that. Slightly different type of cable. Important to know that it's unlike this, where you just plug it in and it's good. On this side, first of all, it'll only go in one direction. It's notched, so you can only get it in one direction, but that's not enough. Important thing to know is push it in, turn it till it clicks.
Okay.
The more important thing is, so it doesn't get broken, is when you're taking it apart, pull the ring, that little gray ring toward you, and twist the entire connector to the left and release it. So it's, you know, it's locked in place. It's not going to come out until you pull the sleeve and twist it to the left. And that's just, we'll talk about how to get the sound to the monitor, but this is how you get it out of the box. It's coming this way out of the box, and it's gonna terminate in the monitor itself. And now it's the same here. These are the Neutrik type connectors, the Speakon connectors. It'll only go in one direction, so push it in, not enough, until you click it.